Hi, this is Catherine, and I am going to be showing you today on behalf of the Kansas City Golden Retriever Club a little bit about grooming paws in about 5 minutes per paw. And this is for your regular home grooming. I'm not using anything fancy. First, what we do is we will trim the toenails. I'm going to use this tool to trim, and then I will be shaping, use a diamond edge bit, but this would be similar to a Dremel, but this is hugely old. We're going to go inside the paw, and I'm going to use about a 50-year-old wall shaver on the inside of the paw. If you don't have one of those, it's not a problem. We have a straight shear, very, very antique, back to my cosmetology days, but the reason I love it is because it's a very good point. This one is the same, little tiny but extremely tight point for getting around toenails. And then the last one, this is my shear for thinning, and will take out without leaving any marks. So those are pretty much my tools, in addition to a cat brush that we will use to bring hair up in between the toes. So let's get started. I have done one paw for you already, so you can see that the right paw is finished and the left paw is not. So we are going from this to this. So if you like the way that looks, it didn't take very long, so let's get started. Okay, the first thing that I will do is I will trim his toenails with a trimmer. I like to do their toenails right as they come out of the bath because they're softer. He's not a big fan of this either, so do know that you're not the only person that is working on toenails that doesn't like it, and that did not nip him, so he just is contrary. Don't take very much off. Try not to hurt your pet at all, because then it won't go very quickly. So this part is never a favorite. Stop, stop, stop. Thank you. So that is done. Going on to smoothing the edges and shaping. You could use this instead of the other. It just takes longer. So that's it. I do recommend doing them once a week. So even if you're not grooming, once a week, and always groom a clean dog. Okay, this is where we're going. We're going to be taking out all this underneath the paws. Let me grab a shear, because if you don't have an electric device like that, please don't get discouraged. So we would just be taking it out next to the pads, using your pad as a guide, and trimming. And using those pads as a guide, you're going to go all the way through. Don't come up into the front. Don't come up into the sides or in the back. If using a tool, I'm switching. If using a tool such as this, which I love, I just go in and clean it out. See how tight that is? Works great for when they're in the snow, get in the mud. It makes for a really nice cleanup. They don't track stuff in the house as much. So I do love that. And I kind of spread that apart. It's got a guard on it. It's not going to hurt him. It's not going to nick him or anything. You can go straight up, but do not come over. Do not go back in here. Just use your paw edges as your guide. And that gets you started. Don't go back here. Okay. So that is that. Gotta stand. I'm going to put a very expensive device under him to keep him to stand because he likes to wiggle. Okay, so now I'm going to do a blunt cut using my straight scissors. A blunt cut is kind of like when you trim somebody's bangs. You just give it a clean edge. And that's what we're doing here. Just a blunt cut. Like if you have long hair and you just get it trimmed at the ends, blunt cut. with him, I can kind of use his nails as part of a guide. If you've got really long nails, you're going to have to go in next to it. And you'll get there. Just keep working on those trimmings. The quick will go back as you trim a little every Saturday. Using my tiny shears, I'm just going to pick up any hairs that look like they're not clean cut. In between the toes, you'll see you have hair here. Use your line that you've created right here to go in between the toes. Don't go in deep, and don't cut this out because you'll end up with a hole. So again, I'm just okay. Now I'm gonna hold his other paw up. Well, I prefer to work in a standing position, which is easier to get to the little hairs I'm talking about. So I'm going to go around and just clean up. Again, I'm just blunt cutting. I'm not doing any, just catching everything that's not in the right place. Now remember, what we're trying to create here is a nice round paw, just like the example I showed you. It needs to be cat-like. Cat-like meaning tight and round. So that is your goal. So don't cut up into here to cut up around your nails or anything. You want it to be round, just like that. So you could actually get by with that, but we go a little further. What I'm going to do next is pull up all the hair in between the toes. You can use a straight shear or a thinning shear. And you'll see what I'm doing. I'm taking these tips off that have come up that don't go along with my idea shape of a round. I'm not going deep. You can see that's a lot of hair there. Nope, I'm just going from what appears to be not cat-like. So I'm just taking that off. Go back, pull it up. It's looking pretty good. All right, so with that now, I'm gonna take my thinning shear, upside down, and go along here, and again, take off anything looking vertically down that is not in line with my round. It's not round, it doesn't get to stay. All right, so this back side needs to be cut just angled like this. Do not trim your golden up here. You don't want to go up next to the back here. You just want to blend it in to these longer hairs, which this is Gloria's hair. You hardly ever want to touch that. So just hold that up out of the way. I'm going to lay his foot like this, and I'm angling. Straight shear. Turn it a little. As you turn it, you can see where it's not lined up. So I'm getting both sides of it this way. Okay, now put it down and check it. Not bad. Not bad at all. A little bit more. Okay, when I'm looking down on the paw, I am seeing some hairs down here. So I am going to go down straight and take those off. I'm seeing some wispiness right through there and right here that are breaking the image of my round. So, all right, so here we go. Here are our 2 feet, and now they match. Happy grooming!